If Taichi could change anything about the calendar, it would be so that Valentine's Day didn't fall on Hayato's birthday. In theory, it was sweet his boyfriend was born on the day people celebrated their love for each other. Hayato definitely didn't hesitate to share his love with everyone around. But in reality, Taichi hated it. Not because he minded Hayato's touchy nature, nothing like that. On the contrary, he was grateful for it. However, he didn't like seeing his boyfriend's, now turned fiancé, birthday overshadowed by oftentimes shallow holidays. Hayato had always said he doesn't mind, and knowing him, he probably really didn't, but Taichi minded. A lot. He wasn't sure what bugged him so much about it. After all, people close to Hayato knew it was his special day and made sure to wish him happy birthday before anything else. But still. And so he came up with an idea this year. Forget anything Valentine's Day related and focus solely on his fiancée's birthday. Simple as that. Alas, perhaps simple, but not easy. It can't be that difficult, right? I mean, if I follow the recipe, it can't go wrong. He stared intently at the piece of paper on which he scribbled the instructions a few minutes ago, from Tendo nonetheless, who was so kind and helped him last minute. He should have known better than not check with the bakery they got his order right, but in his defense, it shouldn't have been required of him. He understood it was Valentine's Day and a lot of people were ordering sweets for their loved ones, but damn it, it was their business. They should have been more thorough with the orders. Like this, he was just unpleasantly surprised after running all the way to the bakery just to find out they somehow lost his order. They offered him a full refund, but that wasn't going to help him when Hayato was coming home in less than an hour and he had to have everything prepared by then. He checked the clock, already slightly panicked. Well, too late to worry about it now. Let's do this. I just hoped Tendo-san wouldn't give me something awful as a joke. The problem was, Taichi couldn't bake. He wasn't a fan of sweet things, and since they moved in together with Hayato, it had always been his partner who baked when he got hit by sweet cravings. Come on, it can't be that hard. He followed the recipe to a T, making sure every measurement was precise before mixing everything together and putting it into the baking form. A thought on sending a picture to Tendo flashed through his mind, but he dismissed it as fast. Tendo was already doing him a favor by answering his phone so late. He couldn't possibly bother him even further. And he probably wouldn't be able to tell from a picture anyway. He hesitated before he put the future cake into the oven, sending a quick prayer for good luck. He then cleaned the horrible mess he made, dusted off the flour from the oven setting wheels and handle, and prepared the rest of the ingredients he needed for the filling. He was still waiting for the flowers to be delivered. A big bouquet of snapdragons, Hayato's favorite, before he could finish preparing the table. They couldn't really go anywhere without a car while Hayato was injured, but that didn't mean they couldn't celebrate Hayato's birthday properly. He just hoped Hayato wouldn't be disappointed. He wouldn't say anything if he was. He's too nice to do that. Shaking his head, he quickly checked the cake and then went to get the gift he hid in the wardrobe out of Hayato's reach. However, no matter how long he searched the shelf, the little box containing new earbuds he was saving for the last 4 months was nowhere to be seen. Panicking, he searched the whole wardrobe in case he forgot which shelf he put it in, but to no avail. The box just wasn't there. Oh no, this isn't happening. He groaned in frustration, smacking his hand on the wood. Damn it! As if it wasn't enough, he didn't check the cake order in time and was creating something that had a high chance of giving them food poisoning. Now he lost the gift too. How much more of a screw-up he could be? He startled when the doorbell rang. The panic settled a bit when he realized it couldn't be Hayato coming home yet, and rushed to the door, getting greeted by a sight of a delivery man holding a large paper-wrapped cone in his hands. Delivery for Kawanishi-san, a bouquet of chrysanthemums to the door. Taichi paused. Wait, what? That's for me, but I didn't order this. It was supposed to be snapdragons, not chrysanthemums. The guy furrowed his brow and checked the clipboard in his hand. Huh, but your order has chrysanthemums in it. Look at it yourself. Taichi stared at the order he supposedly made, trying to make sense of the whole thing. No mention of snapdragons, not a single note of explanation. It's not my order. They had to mess it up somehow. Look, I'm just delivering. If you call them and persuade them to change it, I can take this back and bring the correct one, but it will probably take another 2 to 3 hours before I get here again. Taichi wanted to scream. Fine, give me those. I'll call them later about it. He took the flowers and closed the door, ready to smash his head into the nearest wall. Perhaps that way, Hayato could get the celebration he deserved without anyone ruining it. He unwrapped the flowers from the paper and put them into a vase to at least prevent them from withering. They were beautiful, but not what he needed. Just as he finished arranging the blooms, his nose started to tickle. He sneezed hard, his eyes watering. Oh, great. Tickling soon turned into itching, making him sneeze again and again, his eyes getting a bit puffy. Damn pollen. He froze in his tracks, sniffing. Oh shit. He almost burned his hands off the hot form as he pulled it out. The top of the supposed-to-be cake was completely black, the smell of burning spreading through the kitchen. Shit. What did I do? I had the time correct, so what? His gaze fell on the thermostat, which was turned all the way to the maximum temperature, probably from when he cleaned the wheel before. He took a shattered breath. It was okay. He still had time, right? He quickly dug out the recipe again, spilling half of the ingredients on the counter and floor as he mashed everything together without care about precise weighing. He didn't have time for that. The sound of doorbell startled him again. He flinched as the bowl with mix hit the floor with a dull thud, the contents spilling all over the tiles. He really wanted to cry now. The doctor's visits were starting to get really annoying. Hayato understood checking if the bones were growing together well was important, but if it was possible without having to wait for 2 hours by the orthopedic office just to spend there 2 minutes, that would be great. The only positive thing about it was when Taichi accompanied him. But this time, Hayato was there alone and bored to no end, the only distraction provided by the happy birthday messages from his friends, teammates, and family members. Fortunately, he was now on the way home, getting a ride from his teammate who drove them around occasionally since neither him nor Taichi could afford to buy a car. Why isn't Kawanishi with you this time? Hayato smiled. I think he's preparing something at home today. Oh? Some sweet surprise for Valentine's Day and your birthday? Perhaps. He has a great imagination when it comes to those things. Oh, please just spare me the details. I wish you all the best, but I don't need to hear it. Hayato snickered, adding a point to his mental score. He liked to tease his teammates with stories and various images, only careful not to compromise Taichi in any way. It was fun to watch, but the truth was, nothing from what he said was usually true. Taichi didn't have almost any drive when it came to intimacy beside hugs and kisses, and Hayato respected it. But they didn't need to know that. He's probably making some nice meal for us. He's too worried about messing up my recovery. Soon, he bid farewell to his teammate and carefully hopped up the stairs towards their apartment. He didn't need any celebration, for neither his birthday nor Valentine's Day. All he wanted was for them to be together, maybe watch a movie and cuddle. That would be more than enough. Yet, he still couldn't stop the excited beating of his heart when he pressed the doorbell. A dull thud sounded from the inside, followed by an absolute silence. He frowned and shook the back of his shoulders to fish out his keys. The first thing he noticed was the smell of something burned, mixed with a strong, overly sweet scent of some flowers, creating a cough-inducing combination. Second was the eerie silence. Tai? Is everything okay? He only got a quiet sniff in answer. Crossing the crutches, he slowly made his way further into the apartment, freezing in place when he walked into the kitchen and slowly took in the mess on the floor and counters. Tai, what happened? Do you need help? Taichi stayed standing with his back to him, but even like that, Hayato could see how tense his shoulders were. No, it's fine. I'll clean it up in a bit, I promise. Careful on his footing, Hayato stepped over the spilled flour and sugar and gently squeezed Taichi's shoulder. His heart broke when Taichi flinched away from him, the glistening trails on his cheeks not calming him either. I'm not going to hurt you, sweetheart. I'll help you, I promise. Just tell me what's wrong. Taichi took a shattered breath and averted his eyes. I wanted to make something for your birthday. But it all went wrong. Nothing worked out as it should have, and it's all mess, and now I ruined it, and... Hayato took his face in his palms before he could continue in what was definitely going to be a self-deprecating rant, gently wiping the tears from his cheeks. Despite that, Taichi still wasn't looking at him, which worried him more than anything. I'm sorry, I ruined your birthday and Valentine's Day. I'm sorry. Shh, you didn't ruin anything. He pulled Taichi into his arms, rubbing soothing circles into his back. I'm just glad you didn't hurt yourself with whatever you were doing here. That was a cake. Well, we can always use it instead of Scrouer now. A choked sob tore from Taichi's throat, and Hayato inwardly cursed his habit to joke in wrong situations. I'm sorry, that was mean. But why were you baking? I thought you don't bake. I had to. They messed up my order and didn't make the cake, and I thought if I follow the recipe it will be fine. But I set the temperature too high and it burned, so I wanted to try again and it's... Hayato tightened his embrace, running his fingers through the soft auburn hair in a fruitless attempt to calm him down. It's alright. We'll clean it up and it will be fine. Nothing horrible. How can it be alright? It's ruined. All of it. I messed up the cake and the order of flowers too. They brought chrysanthemums instead of snapdragons and I lost your gift too. I'm sorry. I always ruin everything. I'm so sorry. No, don't say that. It's not true. I know your father tries to convince you otherwise, but it's not true. What was the gift? What did it look like? I just sniffed. Small box, wrapped in a blue paper. A blue box? Oh, I think I know where it is. He felt Taichi freeze in his arms. You do? Hayato pulled away a bit to caress his cheek, giving him a soft smile. Yeah, I found it on the floor the other day, but I wasn't sure where it fell from, so I put it into the nightstand. Really? Yep. So don't worry about it. Everything is okay. But the cake and the flowers, it's wrong and... Hayato flinched when Taichi sneezed right next to his ear. He cupped his cheek again, noticing the puffiness of his eyes and runny nose might not be just from crying. Aren't chrysanthemums, like, really bad for people with hay fever? It's not that... He got interrupted by another sneeze. Hayato hummed and pressed a kiss to his cheek. You don't have to play a hero. It's okay, I'll take them away. Taichi's eyes glossed over, though Hayato wasn't sure whether because of what he said or the allergy. But they were for you. I know, and I love them. But I love you more, and I don't want you to suffer because of them. He gently tugged on Taichi's hand, motioning for him to follow him into the living room and on the couch. Hiya. No protests. Sit down and breathe, okay? Taichi stared at him for a moment without movement before he finally sat down and took a few shaky breaths while he clutched his hands between his knees. Hayato settled next to him and carefully took his hand into his own, glad he didn't feel any more flinching. That's it. Keep breathing. All's good. Nothing horrible happened. He wiped the fresh tears from Taichi's pale skin. He was glad his beloved let out some of the piled up stress from the last few weeks, but he would much prefer if he didn't have to see his fiancée crying. I'm sorry. You have nothing to apologize for. You just had a bad day and a bit of bad luck. That happens. I bet it's because of the chaos around Valentine's Day. You still went out of your way trying to make a nice birthday for me. I can't ask for more. I'm proud of you, you know? So please stop blaming yourself for everything all the time. It breaks my heart to see you cry. Taichi nodded stiffly and wiped his eyes properly. Hayato smiled, squeezing him in a tight embrace. What do you say we clean the mess in the kitchen and then bake something together? We can make cookies or cupcakes or whatever you want. Low on sugar for you, of course. And then we lounge here by TV with some horrible rom-com. Just the two of us and snacks. Sounds good? Taichi chuckled softly and Hayato relaxed. He pressed a soft kiss into Taichi's hair before lifting his chin to get a proper kiss. I love you. As long as you are with me, I don't need any celebration or gifts. You are the best gift I could ever get. Crimson colored Taichi's cheeks. I love you too. Can I still give you the gift? I really want you to have it. He didn't wait for an answer before he rushed to the bedroom, coming back a while later with a small blue box. Hayato pulled him back on the couch and then unwrapped the box, his jaw falling when he saw the picture on it. He took out the earbud case, noticing it was one of the latest models, definitely very expensive. Tai, that's too much. That had to cost fortune. Why would you spend so much on me? You said you lost your previous ones, so I thought I could get you new ones. These have the function with which you can see where they are so you won't lose them again. At loss for words, Hayato pulled him into a deep kiss, feeling him slowly melting in his arms, the soft whimper that left Taichi's mouth music to his ears. They parted after a while, both breathing heavily and their cheeks flushed. You are the best, you know. Thank you so much. I don't know what to say. Then can you kiss me again? Hayato grinned, already peppering Taichi's lips with small kisses. You don't have to say that twice.